The guy sent a wave of spiritual energy into the water, and the dead fish suddenly started jumping around, alive again. He immediately took it to the market to sell, but when people heard it was dozens of bucks a pound, they laughed, saying he must have lost his mind. But then, a hotel owner noticed something special about the fish and bought them all. When he got back to his hotel, his secretary rushed in, panicking, saying all the fish had been eaten up by customers fighting over them, some even threw punches for the last one. The owner, stunned, told her to dig into that young man's background. Little did she know, that guy's true identity was anything but ordinary. He wasn't just the richest man in the country but also a former general who once commanded thousands of soldiers. A few years back, he was ambushed and left for dead by his enemies, only to be saved by his adoptive parents. Since then, he'd been pretending to be a fool, living quietly for 3 years. And during those years, only his kind-hearted sister truly cared for him. One day, she told him she was getting married the next day, but right after saying it, she broke down crying. Turns out her gambling father had lost her in a bet to a local thug and was forcing her to marry him. Seeing the woman he cared about to be ruined by a scumbag, the guy decided it was time to stop pretending. Meanwhile, her father started regretting the bet and went to the thug to call off the deal. But the thug grabbed him by the collar, threatening to pay up or let his daughter pay the debt instead. Terrified, the old man ran off. The thug, furious, gathered his goons and stormed over to grab the girl, pounding hard on her door. She tried to warn them to leave, but they kicked the door open anyway. Desperate, she grabbed a broom to fight back, but the thug told his men to wait outside, he'd handle the bride himself. Just as she swung the broom and screamed for help, the guy kicked open the door and charged in, knocking the thug to the ground with one punch. He shielded the trembling girl behind him and coldly warned the thug to stay down and stop causing trouble. Then he grabbed the bottle the thug planned to use on her, twisted off the cap, and forced it down the thug's throat. After teaching him a lesson, the guy held out his hand, ready to take the girl away from that place. She stared at him, shocked and confused by his sudden change. Worried the thug might come after her again, he suggested she stay at his place for now. But as soon as they got home, they saw his two uncles threatening his adoptive mother. Those two weren't just after the house, they wanted the farmland too. The woman, shaking with anger, cursed them for being heartless, saying her husband had just passed away, and they were already fighting over his property. Despite her weak health, she shouted that everything belonged to her adopted son and no one could touch it. But the uncles twisted her words, accusing her of trying to marry her daughter to the young man so he could legally take all the inheritance. The woman was so furious that her chest tightened, and she fainted on the spot. Instead of helping her, the uncles thought she was faking it for sympathy and actually tried to drag her out of the house, planning to dump her so they could claim everything for themselves. Just then, the young man showed up in time.